saunas.
Right, talked about that. Okay.
All these things are actually will help you neutralize, reverse, or
Right.
heal from these.
Okay, great. Are people who have not participated in this experimental trial a threat to the participants?
Absolutely not. We have natural immunity. In fact, they've known for decades that anybody who's vaccinated, whether it's this experimental vaccine or any other vaccine, sheds. So if anybody's a danger to anybody, it's the people who've been vaccinated, not the people who have a natural immunity.
Great. Is there a valid exemption one can use? I guess what we were just talking about there.
You can have a religious, spiritual, ethical, and or medical exemption. They're
Perfect.
all valid.
Okay. Do the Delta, Omega, or Lambda variants exist?
No. You know why I say that? Because nobody's been able to produce SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, to this day from another person. Nobody. So how can it be a variant if the first thing doesn't exist in the first place?
Good point. So is there an informed consent? Like, is that basically all those, right?
Well,
So
this has 11 points on it, basically, and it's an informative document that basically asks whoever's demanding that you get this vaccination to answer these questions for you. And it basically goes through many questions as to, do you know the adverse effects? Do you know the ingredients in the vaccine? Do you know that it's emergency use only? Do you know that there is no liability? Can you guarantee that I'm gonna be in good standing with my life insurance, with my disability insurance, with my healthcare insurance, that you're gonna cover anything that happens to me, that you are now liable for anything that happens to me?
Exactly.
So it just goes on and on.
So did any asymptomatic carrier ever transmit an infection to another person? And first of all, what is an asymptomatic carrier? Maybe
So this is the first time in my career as a physician, doctor, that I've ever heard that term, asymptomatic carrier. An asymptomatic carrier, in my head, you know what that is?
Immune.
It's a healthy person.
Humor.
Okay? If there's no symptoms, there's no disease. And they did a study on, I think in England, it was Dolores Cahill.
Yeah.
I think she took, 1.5 million people or something,
Oh, good.
that they did contact tracing with. Who contact traced who? 0. No one.
Yeah.
So it's just not possible what they're talking about.
You're right. And your last question, how many deaths have been attributed to the jab so far this year? And keeping in mind the VAERS. So tell them what VAERS stands for. Only gets 1 to 10% of the cases.
Has listed almost 12,000 deaths.
Oh my. Okay, so you guys can look up VAERS. It's spelled VAERS. Okay, so
and that's only one. And we found out recently from a whistleblower that there is a injury reporting system for every single one of the pharmaceutical industries.
That's scary. Yeah.
So every one of those shots has a reporting system, and if you put all of those together, 45,000 people who have been killed.
45,000, yeah.
45,000.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
So
genocide.
What are we doing here?
Right. Well, Dr. Nova, thank you so very much. This was such valuable information. We're going to take a quick 1 or 2 questions if anybody has. Really quick, does anybody have any questions for him? Please raise your hand. We will go around. If not, you have the opportunity to speak to Dr. We have a question over there.
Yeah.
So we need a mic over there. We're going to come right to her. Remember that you can always speak to Dr. Debbie. She is located in Encinitas, and her card's also available if you would like to get a hold of her. So we're going to get a few questions here. We only have time for 1 or 2, and then you can always speak to her after the show. So 1 question from you, please.
I've heard from a couple of military people recently, or their families, that they will get dishonorably discharged if they don't get the inoculation or the injection, and even with the religious exemption, that might happen. What do you think the legal?
I don't think they can dishonorably discharge somebody for not participating in a clinical trial. And there's been quite a few generals and people up high that have said absolutely not. And there's so many constitutional protections for that. They can't threaten somebody with their job for not participating.
Is it still considered a clinical trial?
It is still considered a clinical trial. And yes, a religious exemption. Some organizations, including school boards, are saying, your religion doesn't qualify. Who are you to qualify my religion? I'm sorry, but the First Amendment is the First Amendment, and it stands. And you cannot make laws against the Constitution. That's in the Constitution. I don't care how many ways they try to do that. It's not possible to do that. It is illegal if you go to any court. Any judge will stand up to the Constitution. They'll throw things out if they're anti-constitutional. So you just have to have the power, the ability, the sustainability, and the energy and the determination to take it all the way to the court.
Right, and the knowledge is power, and that's why Peggy Hill is also an advocate
Peggy
for-
Hall, yeah.
Peggy Hall, right, so look her up, American Health.
There's also a few other people that are offering legal assistance.
Right.
American Frontline Doctors is offering assistance. There's also ICanDecide.org is offering assistance. Unfortunately, I don't think they like to take any cases in California
No.
because of the laws here.
Okay.
But there's a lot of people out there. I think I also heard there's a lawyer who is representing people specifically for religious exemptions.
Beautiful.
So.
We're going to wrap it up. We really don't have much time left for this one. We're going to have to move it along. But we want to thank Dr. Debbie Novick one more time. Let's give her a big hand. Thank you so much. You can just give a big clap to Danny.